Aloha, Dan McDonald here, and I have a very special recipe for you. I've been wanting to make this for a long time. I learned about this recipe here on the island, and I just never had a kitchen or anywhere to share it with you. So it's actually probably the easiest cultured yogurt that you can make. There's no coconut cutting involved. There's no soaking of any nuts or seeds. So what I've got here are actually some hemp seeds. So this is like a 3-ingredient recipe, but yet it is one of the best yogurts. I was talking to Lou this morning, as a matter of fact, and he was just telling me how important it is for just about everybody when they're beginning this process of transitioning into more living foods and regaining your health, how important it is to activate and culturize the proteins so that there's so much more bioavailable. Protein is really good. There's a lot of things that circulate. You don't need protein. There's enough protein in oranges or whatever. But if you understand things a little bit more and you've been in the gym and you've been an athlete, you know that some of these aminos in more concentrated form can be a blessing for your muscle, strength, power, hair, and hormones. It's great to take 30 days and do a juice cleanse, or even 90 days if you're getting some really concentrated green juice. You can detox, but you also want to make sure that when it comes time to rebuild that you're doing that. And when we're moving in this process of regenerating our body, if from any type of health issue or overweight or underweight, and we're trying to get our small and large intestine cleaned up, and we're trying to get our diet cleaned up, it's really important to be making sure. I have all these thoughts that just started flowing in my head, and I need to share it right now. So I'm an educator because I want to empower you. Carbohydrates digest right here, okay? Proteins digest in the stomach, and fat digests in the small intestine. And the only reason I'm dropping this seed is so you get the download. Because what's happening is that, like, everybody I know pretty much is having digestive disorders. Now, why is that? Well, because every time you go to a restaurant, you get a plate of carbs, protein, and fat all mixed together in one big old pile. And then what happens? Your body doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know how to digest it. So it's just a big old mess all the time. Is it carbs? Well, no, because there's protein and fat in there. So it doesn't know what to do with all the saliva in your mouth, which starts the process of breaking down the carbohydrates. Then you got the stomach, where the acids are broken down because you have a lot more acid in the stomach, where the amino acids are broken down into smaller components so that they can be absorbed and utilized. And then you've got the gallbladder, which squirts bile, which helps to emulsify fats. Well, what happens when you have a big pile of a mixture? Your body doesn't know what to do, and everything gets canceled out. That's the benefit of the enzymes. As you're moving through this process of breaking away from the standard way of eating, which just doesn't work, because you will never find that in nature. In nature, you'll find so much more simplicity. And just to plant another seed, mono meals are king. Now, I make all these recipes on my 30-day Living Foods Transformational Program so you can transition from your standard diet and start moving in the direction of going over into a much more natural way of living, which is simplicity and moderation. Okay, and you'll find that it's so much more satisfying to eat mono meals. You really will see that. So try it sometime. Try eating 3 or 4 apples or 4 or 5 bananas, okay, and see what happens, and see how much more deeply satisfied and nourished you feel because you're able to absorb the food. Okay, so today I've got the easiest and best yogurt, which will help to inoculate your stomach. A lot of what's going on, wow, there's so much inside of me I want to share. So what we've got here is, I'm looking at the charts as I'm studying the microbiome, or microbiology as it relates to gut health, okay? And what I'm seeing is that you've got cultures in South America, indigenous cultures, and they have this very expansive microbiome in their gut, the gut microbiome. There's some tribes in Africa that have been studied very, very closely by a gentleman who's been studying the microbiome in an African tribe by doing stool samples, day in and day out. Very interesting study. And then what you see is they're doing the whole microbiome study and getting samples from all over the world. They're correlating all this data, and it's amazing. But what you'll find is that people in industrialized nations have about 1/3 less of the biodiversity in the gut microbiome. Okay, so what that means is you have 1/3 less ability to digest and utilize certain foods. You have 1/3 less immunity. Okay, so that is why we're using these different kinds of tools like probiotics to enhance the beneficial microorganisms. Cooked food is actually going to bring out certain microorganisms that are more pathogenic, that are designed to come out of the woodwork when you eat cooked food, for food that is already decomposed. Cooked food is already decomposed before it hits your mouth, because all the living essence has been cooked out of it by heat. You want that living essence in your gut and in your blood, okay? And then certain microorganisms in your gut will produce beneficial metabolites which go into your brain and activate a living consciousness in your brain. And when you eat the cooked food, you have a decomposing death consciousness. And that's just the way that it is. And that's just what I've been told to tell everyone by the people that I look up to tell me how to be of service to this world. And so I will speak that truth. So I hope that you can handle it, because the whole culture and the whole society is the death culture. The death of the pills, the death of, oh, your gallbladder's not working, cut it out. And all these other things where our minds are caught in death because the basic foundation of the living foods is not being followed. And when you eat the living foods, the fruits, the vegetables, and the nuts and the seeds that are fresh, it awakens your consciousness, okay? So I've got a 30-day Living Foods transformational program that will explain all of that. I'm heavily promoting it right now because I want to make sure that you do not miss the fact that it is on sale for half price right now, and it's going to go up in about 6 days from the making of this video. So if you are interested in getting the recipes and getting the instruction that you need to make the living food lifestyle work for you, it's very important that I relay this information to as many human beings as I can. I know I get a little excited, I'm a little bit exuberant, but let me tell you, my health is amazing right now, and I am so blessed because I have been following my own principles that I have been sharing with you freely all these years, and it does work. And you will have to go through the emotional cleansing, you will have to go through the cleansing and purification of your mind, you will have to go through the cleansing and the purification of your GI tract. But let me tell you, as you climb, you will have quantum leaps and you will be flying free one day. Trust me, you have to get on this path and stay persistent if health interests you in any way, shape, or form. And if you're interested in being radiantly healthy and radiantly alive, the living foods in the form of juices, smoothies, salads, and these living entrees as transitional foods, these yogurts, which inoculate the GI tract with healthy microorganisms. You can see, sometimes I've heard mothers tell me about these probiotics right here have literally transformed their autistic child's life, because autism is the result of the chemicals and the viruses, and then the immune system not being strong enough to neutralize all that, and then it causes a lot of issues in the brain. Okay, there's a whole big story behind that, but these probiotics can be very beneficial for autistic children and anybody who's experiencing digestive disorders, acid reflux, Crohn's disease. And I like to put them, my favorite way to do it is in the coconut yogurt. Everybody on this island is waiting for me to start making. I cannot keep up with the demand. I drink 1 million coconuts a day and I make as much yogurt as I can, but I cannot keep up with the demand. the women especially seem to be drawn to it for some reason, but it is medicine because these microorganisms that I'm going to show you, I had to educate, these microorganisms are medicine. And they will help you to digest, and they will neutralize a lot of the pathogens. I mean, people have parasites, and they are overran with parasites, and it's literally controlling their appetite. And I can see it right there. And they say, I love sushi. And I say, oh boy, okay, good luck. Okay, and all these other different things that are going on. You want to get your gut clean at all costs. It's, you know, I've been working at this for 15 years, and I still have room for improvement. So there is an infinite potential inside of you. And that's what I'm here to say. And my little way is I see 99.9% of the human beings are eating food that is not conducive to the illumination of their mind, body, and spirit. That is my job. So thank you. That's the prerequisite. But like I said, I'm an educator, and I'd rather educate 5 people than get 10,000 views and you walk away without having more information and knowledge and inspiration to make this work for you, because I would love it if everyone had the energy that I have, because then I could have more people to go hiking with, because I'm always dragging everyone behind me. Come on, man, these 20-something kids are breathing hard, and I'm like ripping this place up, you know what I'm saying? And I want more people to play with. So you better catch up if you're going to keep up with DTM, because I'm on fire. And there's a lot of energy to be had when you start cleaning yourself out. That's all I'm trying to say. So I'm going to promote my little thing one more time just to make sure that if you really want to learn how to get this lifestyle, create these yogurts, make the juices, make the smoothies, make the salads, make the entrees, make the desserts even, then you get the 30-day Living Foods Transformational Program and check it out. If you're not totally stoked, which everybody is right now, that's giving me feedback on, they're like, oh my God, this is awesome, dude. After all these years of having thousands and thousands of requests to get my recipes down on paper, they're super stoked, okay? So anyways, you're gonna be stoked too, and if you're not, then we'll just give you your money back, okay? So cool, like that. So check it out. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna measure this out, because that's one thing I had to do, was measure everything on my books. Because I've a little bit of this, a little bit of that for 7 years on these videos. Oh, a little of this, a little of that. So that's what took me a whole year, was to every single recipe I had to go a teaspoon of this, tablespoon of that, 1 cup of this, 4 cups of that. And it took me forever to do that, but I knew eventually I was going to have to do that. So now I'm going to do that on this today so that you can get a sense of it. Oops, I just made a mess on your stove. Sorry. I'm excited. I get so excited. So this looks like what you got here is 2 cups of hemp seeds. Okay? And now, what are we going to do with the water? I think it's about equal parts to make a nice yogurt. What I'm going to do, though, just to make sure that I don't go too much, I'm going to go 1.5 cups of water, which is not going to be enough. So I'm actually going to, I know that that's not going to be enough. So I'm going to add another 1/2 cup. I'm going to add the 2 cups already. We might even need more, because the hemp seeds really absorb that water. Then I'm going to take this amazing stuff by Pyridime. These are the purest probiotics in the entire world, okay? I know the company. They're all my family. They're all my friends. Mike Adams gave this A+++ rating. That's 3 pluses. Nobody ever gets that, because there's chemicals and toxins in everything except for the Pyridime stuff. And if anyone has a sense of the spiritual world, you need to know the reason why I'm back this company 1,000%, which I know is a mathematical impossibility, is that every single batch is not only triple tested for purity, but every single batch is prayed over with fire by my friend Lou Corona and by the whole family. They pray over every single one of these products, literally, that it will be a blessing to your life. And that's why when people get these, they're like, I start feeling better. They start blasting the enzymes and cleaning all the junk out of their stomach and breaking up all the protein plaques throughout their entire body, because we're enzyme deficient. We've been eating cheeses and hamburger helper and sandwiches and bread and dead foods our entire lives. We're weak and we're tired, and people are getting sick. Look at the cancer rates skyrocketing, autism, diabetes. How are you gonna cure yourself of all this stuff? You need to get hydrated, alkalinized, and come alive again with living foods, living fats, living carbohydrates, living proteins, living water, living gases, living life force, okay? So your body can recognize it. When you heat it up, it's gone. Check it out. These probiotics are medicine. my favorite claim to fame, my secret, the reason why I wake up every morning feeling good is because what I do is I take 1 scoop of, I'll show you the Lifezyme is my favorite. I take 1 scoop of Lifezyme and 1 scoop of Life Biotic every single night right before I go to bed. I wake up and all that activity just burns everything up clean. My blood is clean in the morning. The probiotics are just pure life force and keep my whole gut just shining bright. Keeps anything that's pathogenic out, gone, done, and I am clean. Man, I know that I smell good because I hear it so much from people. They're like, they smell me, and so I just won't even say that, but I'm saying you want to be clean. That's the thing that matters to me. It really is important to me. I don't want to smell bad. Some people smell really bad because they're fermenting and putrefying from the inside out. I know I take forever to do this stuff. I'm so excited. I could sit here for 2 hours and talk to you about living foods and health and tell you so many things about all that you can do to make your life better. And I would never run out of energy and I would stay super excited. So I make these long videos because I'm not really on YouTube to be like, hey, it's a little snippet. I'd love to feel it if you're picking up on this and it's making a big difference in your life. Yeah, I'll take a spoon, please. I mean, I don't really need a spoon. I could just do this. And what I've learned, so that's all you do, thanks, is that's it. 3 ingredients here, and then I'll blend this up, and then I'll do that real quick, and then I'll tell you more about it. That's going to thicken up a little bit. I got a jar here. Okay, so this is, see, I could have made it, definitely could have made it a little bit thicker. So perhaps my original intuition of 1.5 cups would have been good if I wanted to just eat the yogurt. This is, now, see, I just do this. So the probiotics in here are going to work. I take this, I set it on top to keep the mosquitoes out, but I don't twist it. I want it to be able to breathe a little bit, so I leave it open. Now what I was doing when I was eating this a little bit more often, when I was hitting the gym, just keeping on a little bit of weight, was I would make this in the morning, and then I would set it on the counter, and then when I got home, about 8 hours later, it would be done, and it was ripe. So these bad boys right here start to proliferate and break down the proteins into amino acids, break down the carbohydrates into glucose, which the hemp seeds have, and break the fats down into fatty acids. And at that same time, they're also, you take like about, oh, here it is. You take like about billions of microorganisms, and throughout the course of 8 hours, those billions turn into trillions. Then you eat this and it saturates your whole entire system with beneficial microorganisms. So then it starts to, that process of rebuilding your gut flora, which for most of us is, like I said, is really, it's not quite what it could be because of cesarean section, stress, antibiotics, bad food, genetically modified foods. But there is a way back. You have to learn how to live in this society. And I haven't really found any information on regenerating the microbiome. It's kind of like you got to learn to live with the one you've got. Because when you have, when you're vaginally birthed, you have so much more biodiversity. So if hopefully what I'm trying to do is teach people how to have super healthy children instead of going more along the lines of the medical route. We've kind of fallen into this trap where we feel like just because someone has a white coat and 8 years of education that they know anything about health. And a lot of times they don't, because what happens is that greed sets in, ego sets in, and the love and care of the human beings diminishes, and they're no longer healers, but just going through a system that's designed for profit, sickness, and death, and brainwashing us to think that that's what it is. So I'm here to sort of not fight the system, but to create a new one, a better one, that's in harmony with nature as much as possible. I mean, I realize, I know I use this stuff. These are all transitional foods. I'm recommending that you work your way into what's commonly termed like fruitarianism, which means like just whole, simple, basic foods. Your salads are just very simple. I mean, you basically, like when you start eating right, in my opinion, you might take a piece of spinach, or a little handful of spinach. This is what I like to do: a little handful of spinach and a macadamia nut, and just eat just like that. Boom. And you see how much digestion that's going to be. But then it's like, well, I could take all this and mix all this stuff on there and go to a gourmet raw restaurant, and by that time it's like, oh man, it's not quite right. So I'm kind of in the middle of all these worlds, and I will do some advanced teachings soon, because the advanced teachings is really what I'm about, so I don't want to get into that too much, but I just did a 14-day master cleanse, and I never felt better in my entire life, and it totally notched me up, and I totally manifested magically all kinds of great things got rid of a whole bunch of cool stuff. So fasting is the ultimate way to create miracles in your life, to bring in that which you desire and to just cut the cords with everything that is no longer working. Okay, so that's a whole nother story, and there's advanced teachings, but just I can only talk to, in general terms for the most part, because I need to be on an individual one-on-one consultation basis to find out, what you are dealing with personally, so I can help guide you. It's like, are you overeating? Are you undereating? Are you mixing too much? Are you just having stress? You know what I mean? All these things that might be keeping you from thriving. And just, I'm here to share just thrivingness, because that's what I'm doing. I'm just thriving. My life is amazing, and I want to share everything I can about how I made that happen, so that you can have those seeds planted in yourself, and courage and faith and divine qualities. I know I rambled on this one, but I feel so connected to you, and I want to make sure that there's lots of little seeds planted from different angles, so you go out of here inspired and a better person with all this incredible knowledge that I've learned from the masters of my life. And so that's enough being said right there. So today is the day to change your life. Check out the 30-day Living Foods Transformational Program at my website. Make sure you don't miss the sale, because it's on half price right now for another 6 days. So thanks a lot. I'm going to continue to promote the 30-day Living Foods Transformation. That is my responsibility to my incredibly hard-working team over there, and I'm the front man, Dan the man, and so thank you so much. It's such an honor to serve in this way, and I really pray that you have the most success in all areas of your life, and peace be with you, and aloha.